You clicked on this video because you want to stop letting your work life bleed into the rest of your life. So you want to put up some boundaries. That's great because you're going to learn how to do that in this video. What are boundaries anyway? Think of boundaries not as people, places, or things. They're not physical so much as they are energetic. Picture it as an energy field, like a semi permeable membrane that protects your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul. Some things make it through and penetrate us and hurt us and can cause damage. And unless and until we take ownership over the effect that it's had on us, then we haven't really secured our boundaries. Boundaries are more about how you manage your own energy, your own attention, and take responsibility for your own interactions with others. It even comes down to past stories and emotional traumas that you're healing from. And what about those are you still focusing on? Can you let them go so that they don't keep you stuck? I like to think of boundaries as a conceptual roadmap that helps you decipher between what you can control and what you can't. Because after any encounter, we get to decide what is healthy and acceptable and what is not healthy and not acceptable. And we get to choose differently next time. Maybe change the topic or change the company you keep, the rooms you enter, and the food you eat. Ultimately, it comes down to how you manage the effect anything external has on your internal sense of self. And when it comes to putting boundaries on your work life so that you can be the present, patient, happy mother with your family, then it becomes about setting up habits, behaviors, and routines that both lessen the exposure to the destructive energy and repairs the damage done by the destructive energy. If it's wreaking havoc on your psyche, you know you need some boundaries. Here's an example. So, if you know that social media is stealing time from you, like you get lost scrolling on the app for hours, leaving you distracted from work, depressed but you don't know why, and doubting your ability to perform in the ways that you want to, then you know you get to place a boundary around your social media activity. How much time you spend on the app or when you spend time on the app, etc. Like, are you scrolling social media when your kids are sitting right there and you could be engaging with them? Granted, I know sometimes you just need a mental break and you don't want to engage with the kids, but sometimes a mindless scroll is doing more damage than good. When you know something's not working, you can change it, but that takes awareness. When you have that awareness, you can set up your day to be productive in business in the time that you have, and then present with your family in the time that you have. Entrepreneur moms and aspiring entrepreneur moms are juggling a lot, mentally and physically. That sometimes, a lot of times, it feels like when you're excelling at one thing, like being a good mom, you're failing at the other, being a good business owner, and vice versa. In order to juggle it all well without sacrificing your sanity, you set up boundaries so that you're not a stressed out entrepreneur with your kids or a stressed out mom with your clients. That's what we're talking about today. Let's talk about how to set those boundaries. Hi, I'm Yvette the Declutter's, your less is more coach and business mentor. And in this video, we're going to cover what workaholism is and how you can slow it down, how to protect family time without killing business momentum, and how I restructured my business energy and beliefs to make more by doing less. Workaholism is working compulsively to the point where you're not taking a break from working, doing, acting, performing. It means not balancing the doing with the non doing. Rest, play, frolic, aka after you consume energy, you're still consuming more energy instead of balancing that with replenishing your energy. And I believe it comes from our upbringing, what we observed when we saw other people working or making ends meet or succeeding in their careers, and what it taught us about life. What do you believe? Do you believe that you have to work hard for the money? Or do you believe that money flows with ease no matter what you do? Because that matters. That belief right there fuels a hustle mentality or its opposite. We can find a nice medium though. How? By setting up boundaries and also shifting our beliefs. We set boundaries to protect our energy, boundaries around our obligations, our commitments, our responsibilities, invitations, expectations, demands on our time and mental bandwidth. Boundaries are the yeses and the nos of life. Not all no's are no's forever, but for right now, the season you're in now. Recognizing the season you're in is half the battle. so that you're not secretly leaking energy to FOMO and regret and guilt and longing. The more you move with your hell yeses in life, the more you quantum leap to the person you want to be. You will get ahead in all the ways that you want to while spending time doing everything you want to. Isn't that nice? That's a shift in belief. It's also a shift in identity. Like for me, I'm no longer a single digital nomad. I'm now a wife and a mother with a mortgage. And so much of what I do now, I do for my kids, happily, with purpose and joy. The irony would be, though, if I still thought that in order to pay my mortgage, pay my bills, that I still had to work the same amount of hours as I did before kids. I changed my beliefs around work long ago. I choose to believe, like a wealthy person, that money flows with ease. Even while I'm crafting and playing with my kids, I'm making money. I'm making sales. I get to be present with my family and then present with my passion, my career, my clients, my content. I get to build a business that makes money while I sleep. Those are my boundaries. My boundaries translate to belief and behavior. So instead of leaking energy to people please and overthink and doubt myself, I get to trust myself and feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm restructuring how I am as a mom and entrepreneur because time for work is not promised with two toddlers running around, which is why one of my favorite tools for rethinking my work ethic is the 80/20 rule. The Pareto principle states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. The 80/20 rule helps curb workaholism by shifting focus from doing everything to doing the small number of things that actually create value and impact, which makes constant overworking harder to justify. This becomes a mindset that favors a single focus over busy work. And there's something I teach called the 80/20 edit that helps entrepreneurs look at their to do list, like the brain dump we did last week, and pull from it the 20%, the least amount of work necessary to affect the bottom line, the most important task for the day, the week, the month, the year. And we can get that granular because the goal, the vision, where you want to go in life, tells us what task that is. Now, here's how you're going to do it. Review your to do list or your brain dump list from last week and measure the tasks against the goal for the year. What do you want to be, do, and have? And I'll add, what do you want to believe by the end of this year? You'll see 1 to 2 tasks that rise to the top as the most important to get done right now. This is how you simplify. This is how you drill down to the 20%. Okay? Now get to work. If you want me to dive in deeper on the 80/20 rule and the 80/20 edit, like I do with my clients, let me know in the comments. And if you want to work with me one on one on setting your goals, finding your focus, that single most important task, your 20%, and staying accountable while you get it all done without sacrificing time with your precious babes, then join me in the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms. Links in the description below. And until the next one.